I never thought I would have a wireless mouse, let alone absolutely love my wireless mouse and be a fairly avid proponent of people having wireless mice. I was pretty much always under the understanding that wired will always be better, but is that really the truth anymore? This video is not sponsored, but I will be giving what I personally use as my mouse and my recommendation for my wireless mouse at the end of the video, as well as some pros or cons to hopefully help you decide should you be buying a wireless mouse right now. Without further ado, let's get into talking about Facebook's absolute favorite thing. So, especially when it comes to wireless mice, there are not that many straight up lies that people tell, other than one very, very simple one, and that is the cable itself. Fraying, or splitting, or like if you have it crammed into your PC and your PC crammed back against the wall and the cable is like bent like at a right angle coming out of the USB, obviously that can break, and if that breaks and you don't have a detachable cable to your wired mouse, then yeah, your mouse is gonna be bricked over that. But realistically speaking, for I would say 99% of people, 99% of cases, that won't happen. Whereas with wireless mice, there are a lot more just straight up lies. There are a lot more slightly exaggerating the truths about wireless mice. Like, for example, you probably think that wireless mice have a noticeable input delay. That is probably the biggest stretch of the truth that I see on the internet. Another big stretching of the truth that I see online is that wireless mouse batteries are terrible because it's such a small device. And finally, because it's wireless, what if it decides to randomly cut out? What if it randomly decides to update? Or whatnot? These are all things that I've heard many, many times and that actually kept me from getting a wireless mouse for quite a while. But now that I've gone over kinda what the internet may tell you, granted I am on the internet, I would like to clarify that your specific needs may vary, I'd like to tell you guys, at least, about the truth. I have now completely ditched my wired mouse, and I am now exclusively using this wireless mice as my daily driver. I've been using this mouse for a little over 6 months now, and here is my personal experience, what you can expect if you own a wireless mouse in this price range. Granted, not all of them are made the exact same, and you may have a really, really bad experience with a wireless mouse, but this is my own experience, what I have noticed and picked up on and had to deal with in the last 6 months. Firstly, I have not noticed any input delay, any input lag, any latency, nothing. It's not noticeable to me. Now granted, if you were a pro gamer, you could probably notice the 0.0000001 millisecond delay, but I'm not a pro gamer, so it's perfect for me. Granted, my mouse does use a 2.4 gigahertz dongle rather than a Bluetooth connection. I'm imagining that if you were using a Bluetooth wireless mouse, it would be a lot worse of an experience because Bluetooth just can't get as fast and can't be as straight of a connection. Second, as far as interruptions or suddenly cutting off goes, my mouse has only suddenly cut off once. And that's because in the middle of a game of Battlefield 2042, my PC decided, oh, you know what? It would be a good time to update all USB devices and USB ports all at once. So while my mouse did in fact cut out, so did my keyboard, so did my microphone, so did my headset, so did everything plugged into USB. It just thought it would be a good time in the middle of the game to do that. So that's not really on my mouse, but I did want to share that because that is a time that, you know, connection has just completely been interrupted. But it's only happened once, and hopefully it won't happen again for a while. And finally, let's talk about charging. I have not killed this mouse yet. Granted, my current wireless mouse does have a really, really exceptionally high battery rating. Typically, the flashing light that says you need to charge this thing comes on about once per week. And usually, when that light starts flashing, you can continue to use the mouse for like an hour and a half until it, like one time we were playing Sea of Thieves and the light on the mouse came on and we played for another hour, finished the session, didn't have any connectivity issues, didn't have any noticeable latency, it continued to work perfectly fine even though it acted like it needed to be charged. So you do have probably 1 to 2 hours when that light comes on of time that you can plug that in. As far as the charging goes, you can use the mouse while it's charging. I dislike that the cable has to be connected to your PC and that you can't like charge the mouse on a wall. It has to be plugged into your PC in order to charge, but it's really simple to charge. Glorious, the company that makes this mouse, has made it really easy to where you basically just unplug the dongle from the extension and plug that into the end of your mouse to charge it, and you can use it as a wired mouse while it's charging, so that is very nice. At least they didn't decide to put the charging port at the bottom of the mouse, because that seems like a good idea. Thank you very much, Tim Apple. Basically, the way I go about charging my mouse is once every about 4 to 5 days when I'm going to leave my PC on for a couple hours, but I'm not going to be at my PC working. I just throw my mouse on the charger, and the battery light literally hasn't come on for weeks. Now that I've given you my own personal reasons for switching to a wireless mouse, let's talk about the pros of wired mice. They are cheaper, and there are typically more diverse options for better budgets. Cons of wired mice. They drag off your desk if you don't have a bungee, and they can still have sudden interruptions and stop working just like a wireless mouse. Now on to pros of wireless mice. If you like to try and have as few cables as visible at your setup, then a wireless mouse is a perfect option, because that's less cables you have to see. From my own experience, my wireless mouse is a lot lighter weight than my wired mouse. However, that is due to the specific models that I bought. I'm aware you can get incredibly light wired mice as well. Cons of wireless mice are that, no two ways about it, they are more expensive than a wired mouse. They do need to be charged. If you're bad about forgetting to charge things, or if you never have this thing on the charger, then it's probably going to die on you eventually. Bluetooth also absolutely sucks. If you're not using the 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz dongle that they give you with your wireless mouse, then you're kind of losing out, because honestly, it's not really worth having a wireless mouse if you are trying to run it over a Bluetooth connection, just because there are so many issues associated with that. I've had my own personal experience with Bluetooth wireless mice on my MacBook that I just prefer the trackpad now, personally. With those pros and cons in consideration, I'm going to give you reasons why you either should or shouldn't get a wireless mouse now. If you care about cable management, yes, get a wireless mouse. If you have the budget, realistically, if you want a good wireless mouse, you are going to have to spend over $50, then yes, get a wireless mouse. If you think you might forget to charge the mouse if you do get a wireless mouse, then just opt for one that has an auto sleep feature like my mouse. If my mouse doesn't get used for 10 minutes, it goes into sleep mode, where basically you have to click a couple times and wait about a second for it to come back on, but that prevents you from absolutely draining the battery if you forget to turn it off. All that considered, and again, this video is not sponsored, however, I just really like my wireless mouse. Here is a short review for my mouse. I have a glorious Model i2 wireless mouse, and I bought this mouse for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it was on sale, and frankly, I just wanted to try the wireless mouse experience. I was looking on eBay, and I found that if I ended up not liking this mouse out of the box, I would probably only lose $10 for trying wireless. Oh boy, I'm glad that I did. I also saw online that a lot of people in reviews and that had been using the mouse for a while really like and recommend the mouse, and for every one comment of someone that I would see that hated the mouse, there would be about 10 people that really liked the mouse, and I'm willing to take my chances with those numbers. Also, a big deal breaker for me personally is I don't need my mouse to be silent, but the mouse cannot be obnoxiously loud. The scroll wheel can't be obnoxiously loud, the clicks can't be obnoxiously loud. loud. And thankfully, this mouse has, I wouldn't say silent clicks, but it has relatively subtle clicks. And the thumb buttons are also really, really tactile and nice. I game a lot, so I really need those side buttons. This mouse has 4 programmable thumb buttons, and they're in a really good position. They also give you extra thumb buttons, which is just awesome. Like if you want to change out the shape of one of the thumb buttons, or if one of them breaks or something, you can literally just pop it out and pop a new button on the side. And finally, I like the kind of more ergonomic shape, mainly because my mouse before this was a Razer Basilisk V3, and it also had that kind of ergonomic left side curve shape that I was looking for, and this mouse had that. It actually matches very closely to the Basilisk in terms of dimensions. I really like this mouse, and I would personally highly recommend it. Again, not sponsored by Glorious to say this. I think they just make a really solid mouse. But I also can't lie, I can't get around it. It is relatively expensive for a mouse, but I use it as a tool to edit as well. Therefore, it's a business expense. Hopefully, this video was able to help you figure out if you should be getting a wireless mouse or looking for one in the near future. I personally love mine, and I don't ever think I would go back. But do you have a wireless mouse? Have you had a bad experience with a wireless mouse? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you want to watch another one of my tech reviews like this video, that video is going to be right over here, and if you want to see a video YouTube thinks you'll like, that video will be right over here. I'll see y'all there.